The Krebs cycle is a process that takes place in the matrix of the mitochondria, and it takes a molecule of acetyl-CoA, which is produced during glycolysis or fatty acid oxidation, combines it with a molecule of oxaloacetate to produce a molecule of citrate. From here, citrate will go through this cycle to reproduce that original molecule of oxaloacetate, and during that cycle, it's going to produce these byproducts of NADH and FADH2. The MCAT can test you on pretty much anything that's on the Krebs cycle, from the enzyme names, the byproducts, the molecule names, or the molecular structures. But unless you have an abundance of time, you're going to have to prioritize memorizing some of these things over others. The most important thing you need to have memorized is the structure and name of acetyl-CoA. You also want to memorize that this first step that produces citrate is carried out by citrate synthase. Next, you need to focus on the byproducts that are created and what enzymes carry out those reactions. Starting with isocitrate dehydrogenase, we reduce a molecule of NAD+ to produce a molecule of NADH, and we lose a CO2 during this reaction. Next, alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase reduces another molecule of NAD+ to produce a molecule of NADH, and we add a coenzyme A to our molecule while kicking off another CO2. Next, succinyl coenzyme A synthetase takes an inorganic phosphate and combines it to GDP to create GTP, which is just like ATP, but instead of adenine, we have guanine. During that process, we also kick off that coenzyme A that we added the step before. Then succinate dehydrogenase reduces the molecule of FAD to become FADH2. Also, this enzyme is complex 2 of the electron transport chain, so you'll find it embedded in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. I really wouldn't worry about fumarase, so let's just move on to malate dehydrogenase. This enzyme reduces another molecule of NAD+ to produce another NADH. This step also produces oxaloacetate, so we're back to the beginning of the cycle. And to continue the cycle, you would need to add another acetyl coenzyme A. As for the molecule names throughout the cycle, I wouldn't worry about them too much, except for oxaloacetate, citrate, and alpha-ketoglutarate. For those 3 molecules, you need to know what enzyme creates it and what enzyme it's a substrate for. I wouldn't worry too much about memorizing those 3 molecule structures. However, if you're going to memorize any structures throughout the Krebs cycle, those 3 are the most important to have memorized besides acetyl-CoA.